An empire that ruled through fear and force built one of the most reliable messaging systems in ancient history. A private company with almost no legal authority over anyone built one of the most reliable messaging systems in modern history. Neither one needed your loyalty, they needed your trust. That's strange, because a state and an app couldn't be more different institutions. And yet Darius's Royal Road and WhatsApp servers are solving the identical riddle. How do you move a private thought across a distance you can't personally cross, and know it arrived exactly as it left? Stick around, because the answer to that riddle hasn't actually changed in 2,500 years. Only the materials have. Picture this. You need to get an urgent message to someone 1,000 miles away. Right now, there's no phone, no car, no guarantee the road between you and them is even safe. And somewhere out there, someone is actively trying to stop that message from arriving. What do you build? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's the exact problem every growing civilization eventually runs into. Communication is simple when it's local: a voice, a glance, a handshake. The moment a message has to travel farther than you can personally carry it, someone else has to carry it for you. And that means someone else now has the power to lose it, change it, delay it, or read it. So the real question isn't, how do you send a message? It's how do you extend trust through a stranger or a whole chain of strangers without ever being there yourself to check their work? Empires lived or died on this problem. A king who couldn't get orders to a general 1,000 miles away didn't actually control that territory. He just claimed to. And today, the stakes have changed shape, but the problem hasn't gone anywhere. Every message you send still has to solve the same 3 things at once: find its way there, arrive unchanged, and stay hidden from the wrong eyes. Miss one, and the whole system fails. In the 5th century BCE, the Persian king Darius the Great inherited a problem no ruler before him had faced at this scale. His empire stretched from the Aegean coast all the way to the heart of Mesopotamia. A message traveling that distance on foot took about 90 days. By the time an order reached its destination, the situation it addressed could easily have changed completely. An empire that large, moving that slowly, wasn't really being governed. It was just barely holding together. Darius's answer was the Royal Road, a highway stretching roughly 1,700 miles from Susa to Sardis. But the road itself wasn't the real invention. The real invention was what ran on top of it, a relay system the Persians called the Angarium. Here's how it worked. Along the entire length of the road, the empire built way stations spaced about a day's ride apart. At each one, a fresh horse and a fresh rider waited, ready to go. A courier would ride hard for a single day's stretch, hand off the message at the next station, and a completely new rider would carry it onward from there. Rest, hunger, and exhaustion never had to slow the message down, because no single rider carried it the whole way. The system carried the message. The individual couriers were interchangeable. The results were remarkable for the era. A message that took 90 days on foot could cross the same distance in 7 to 9 days by relay. The Greek historian Herodotus, writing not long after, was stunned enough by what he saw to put it in writing. He said nothing on earth traveled faster than these couriers, and that neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor darkness ever stopped them from finishing their route. That description was so enduring it later got carved into a post office in New York nearly 2,500 years later. What Darius had actually built was a routing system baked into infrastructure itself. The way stations guaranteed a courier always knew where to go next. The relay structure meant losing one horse or one rider, never meant losing the message. Speed and reach were solved, brilliantly, for their time. But notice what wasn't solved. If a rider was captured, there was nothing stopping the message from being read. There was no encryption, no code baked into the system itself. Only the physical danger of being caught, and the empire's military reach to punish anyone who dared intercept a royal courier. Routing was elegant. Confidentiality depended entirely on force and fear, not design. That gap, a fast, wide-reaching system with no real protection against interception, would sit unsolved for over 2,000 years until a very different kind of network had to face the same 3 problems from scratch. By the early 2000s, the scale of the problem had changed almost beyond recognition. It wasn't one empire trying to reach its own generals anymore. It was billions of individual people all over the planet trying to reach each other directly, instantly, and privately, using nothing but a small device in their pocket. In 2009, two former Yahoo engineers, Brian Acton and Jan Koum, built WhatsApp to solve exactly this problem, though not with an empire's resources or authority behind them. They had no army to guard a courier, no legal power to punish anyone who intercepted a message. What they had instead was code. The basic mechanics of an app, like WhatsApp, work through something called store and forward routing. A message doesn't travel in one straight line from sender to receiver. It hops from your device to a server through a system that looks up where the recipient's device actually is and onward until it lands. It's not so different, structurally, from a message being handed from one Persian way station to the next. The difference is that this entire relay happens in a fraction of a second, invisible to the person sending it. For years, that solved reach and speed. It didn't fully solve confidentiality. Anyone controlling a server along that path could, in theory, read what passed through it. That changed in 2016, when WhatsApp finished rolling out full end-to-end encryption to all of its users, then numbering over 1 billion people. From that point forward, a message was scrambled the moment it left a sender's device and could only be unscrambled by the intended recipient. Even WhatsApp itself couldn't read it. This was the modern equivalent of the Persian way station, but flipped. Where Darius protected messages through force, armed riders, imperial punishment for interception, WhatsApp protected messages through mathematics. A captured Persian courier could be tortured until he gave up what he carried. A captured WhatsApp message, encrypted, is functionally useless to whoever intercepts it. The protection moved from the body of the courier into the message itself, and the scale is almost impossible to compare directly. Darius's system carried messages for an empire's court and military, a small number of people relative to the population beneath them. WhatsApp now moves messages for well over 2 billion people every single day, for free, with no oath, no legal requirement, and no state enforcement behind it at all. But this new solution introduced a problem the Persian system never had to face. When a Persian courier was captured, that failure was visible. Someone knew the message hadn't arrived and could react. When a modern message is intercepted, spoofed, or read by a compromised device, there's often no way to know it happened at all. The interception risk didn't disappear when the technology improved. It just went quiet. Strip away the horses and the servers, and what's actually left? At the core, both systems are built from the same 5-stage skeleton. A sender has a message. That message enters a routing layer, which decides where it needs to go next. It moves through some form of transit. It gets verified, or at least delivered, on arrival, and it reaches a recipient. That's the entire structure of a courier leaving Susa in the 5th century BCE, and it's the entire structure of a message leaving your phone right now. The materials are completely different. The underlying diagram is identical. Look closer, and the similarities go beyond just shape. Both systems rely on decentralized relay networks instead of a single, fragile point-to-point path. The Persian way station network spread the risk across many riders and many stations, so losing one horse never meant losing the message. WhatsApp spreads messages across multiple servers for the same reason, so no single point of failure can take the whole system down. Both systems also depend on infrastructure that matters more than any individual message passing through it. The Royal Road mattered more than any single order carried along it. WhatsApp's server and encryption network matters more than any single text you've ever sent. And in both cases, the people who adopted the system fastest were the ones with the most urgent need for reliable long-distance trust. An empire needed to govern territory it couldn't personally oversee. Billions of individual users needed a free, instant way to reach people an ocean away. Different motivations, same underlying urgency. But forcing this comparison further would be misleading, because the two systems diverge in ways that matter. Persian security was physical and visible. A captured courier was a visible loss, something the empire could see, react to, and even avenge. WhatsApp security is cryptographic and largely invisible. A message can be intercepted, spoofed, or read through a compromised device, and neither the sender nor the recipient may ever know it happened. The Persian system also ran on coercion. Riders served an empire that could punish failure and reward loyalty by force. WhatsApp runs on the opposite incentive. Nobody is compelled to use it. People choose it because it's free, fast, and convenient, not because a government demands it. And the Persian network carried a relatively small number of high-stakes messages, mostly for a royal court and military command. WhatsApp carries billions of low-stakes messages a day, mixing life-changing news with grocery lists, at a volume no ancient system was ever built to handle. This split points to something bigger than either system on its own. Every messaging network in history, whether it moves by horse, by wing, or by fiber optic cable, is forced into the same three-way negotiation between speed, security, and reach. No system in history has ever maximized all three at once. The Persian Royal Road had impressive reach for its era and real speed thanks to its relay design, but its security depended entirely on force, which meant a captured message could simply be read. WhatsApp solved reach and speed at a scale the ancient world couldn't have imagined, and added strong cryptographic security on top of that. But the trade-off didn't disappear. It just moved. Where Persian failures were loud and visible, modern failures are often silent. New technology doesn't dissolve the old constraint. It just relocates where the weak point sits. That relocation is the real lesson underneath both systems. Every generation tends to place too much trust in whichever constraint its current technology has already solved, while underestimating the one it hasn't gotten to yet. The Persians trusted their physical infrastructure completely, right up until the moment a rider was captured and a secret got out. Modern users trust digital delivery the same way, right up until a message is spoofed, a device is compromised, or metadata reveals more than anyone intended, often without anyone noticing at all. The tools keep changing generation after generation. The blind spot never actually goes away. It just wears a different disguise each time. We've traded horses for handshakes and packets, but we haven't escaped the triangle. We've just moved where the weak point sits. So here's what I want to know. In your own communication, whether it's WhatsApp, email, or something else, do you think you're trading away speed, security, or reach without realizing it? And what do you think the next system will sacrifice to solve the gap this one hasn't? Drop your guess in the comments. I'll read through them.